Hello, and welcome back, everyone, to a stream that is starting on time today. Hello there, Sneak Cat. Hello, anyone viewing anonymously. What the fuck? Let's just start with that. What the fuck? What the fuck is a snuffkin? Let me just Google that quickly. Okay. That's a snuffkin. Yeah, let me, here. Let's fucking, do some shit. Oh my god, I have too many fucking windows open. This is a snuffkin. That's all. That's all yeah, okay. Anyway. Just, don't like that. Stream froze on what the fuck is a snuffkin? Well, hopefully it doesn't keep doing that. This is not supposed to stream. Or not supposed to freeze, I mean. It is supposed to stream. That is exactly what it should be doing, which it seems to sometimes not want to do. A good boy. Yeah. He looks like a good boy. Okay, well. It's only been one day, so not a heck of a lot to preamble at ya. Yeah. Been a pretty chill day. Oh yes, in many places in the world consider it Mother's Day today, so if you celebrate that, happy Mother's Day. Yeah, that's kind of all I can think of at the moment. Yeah, I just was chilling out. I did a whole bunch of archival taggy image archiving work today. That's been my day. I am leaving for my cousin's tomorrow midday, and I still haven't packed. I have a packing list, though. I'm very good at packing. I mean, I'm also very good at overpacking. So, like, subjective. However, I'm very good at packing. I always make a list, and, yeah, but I still need to actually put it all together. So that's gonna be what's up after stream today. Yeah. We are on Meat 32, and I'm so fucking excited for this chapter. It is such a diamond in the rough. Ugh. I know that statement was kind of implying that all parts of the epilogue were rough, and I know that, you know, there is still a decent amount of really good parts that are good to read. Like the John Rizzi conversation from yesterday, chapter 31. However, this chapter in particular makes my heart sing. This whole conversation with Dave and Roxy is so fucking good. I love it so much. And that is what we will be exploring today. Well, for the first part, at least. Okay. Without further ado, "32.
Roxy is nervously dialing Rose's number repeatedly. Then they try Kanaya. Considering Rose's failing health, Roxy hates to bother her, but they aren't sure who else to call regarding Jade's unexpected trance. Their fingers hover over Dirk's number for a moment, but no, that would not be a good idea. They don't know why they suddenly think it's a bad idea. It just is. Roxy's anxiety fills up the room like a bell struck in an empty hall. Their thoughts, usually so quiet, invisible to those observing from the vantage of a higher textual plane, now chime loudly in the presence of a black hole, or rather in the presence of a proxy for such a vortex of pure void, a proxy such as Jade's mind at the moment. Jade floats over the couch in a sitting position, an inch above the cushions. Her long hair billows around her, her hands crossed in her lap. Her black eyes bore into nothingness, looking beyond the wall she faces, and beyond everything past it through the very fabric of narrative itself. They scan the ciliary veins of pacing, motivation, foreshadowing, irony, a continuum that has been upended by the prince's interference. Rose still does not pick up. Roxy resigns themselves to a confidant of last resort. Their reluctance is not due to lack of fondness. Their conversations with Dave simply have a reliable habit of straying far from the desired topic for extended periods of time. He picks up on the third ring.
I love Roxy Dave conversations. This is the best one of them all, but just like anytime they interact, like especially their fucking lightning round on the lily pad is so amazing. Yo, love to chat, but I'm kind of in the middle of something. Yo yourself, but this is important. More important than salvaging the global economy from potential disaster? Sounds hugely unlikely.
Dave is currently making his way through the back lot of the new Cantown Memorial Stadium, following Jake as he heads toward the podium. He is scheduled to give a speech announcing his official endorsement of Karkat Vantas in his bid for presidency.
I don't care about that. In terms of scale and relativity and stuff, maybe not. It's actually kind of hard to tell. I guess in the grand scheme of things, she's just taken a sort of nap. But it's one hell of a nap, bro. Nap, you say? Well, this changes the fuck out of everything. Yeah? Nah. Yeah, Roxy exists. And then just Roxy exists, and then I achieve inner peace. Like, Roxy just was one of my absolute favorites of the Alpha Kids from very early on. I just really love and appreciate her and her existence. Or them. Wow, fuck me. I just really appreciate them and their existence, and when the thing in the epilogue with the coming in, I already talked about it when it happened, like the whole thing where like I cried. It was just like elevated state of, oh, I love you so much. Yeah, they are a very amazing character, and I love them so much.
It's a balmy, windless evening on Dave's end. The gathered crowd is relaxed by the warmth. Many of them partake in the pleasure of a cool treat, such as earth-iced cream.
Jesus fuck, this is excruciating.
It isn't.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Okay, whatever the fuck you say. Roxy and Jade. Yeah. Jade was my favorite of the Beta Kids the first time that I got caught up, but I don't know the favorite Beta Kid is for me anymore. It's gotten harder for me to pick. But yeah, I love Jade a lot, and I used to roleplay as her a little bit, but I was kind of bad at it. I mean, it was, 14-year-old baby Caitlin's for baby's first roleplay, but like yeah, I haven't done roleplay in a while.
The audience is large and diverse, mostly trolls and Carpathians, but it is dotted with representation from the human and consort kingdoms as well. A lopsided distribution, certainly, but the very model of diversity compared to the crowds of his opponent. It is a true inspiration to all those who have placed faith in the Vantis ticket.
Lord save me from this fake woke nightmare.
Be quiet.
No.
Yes.
Let me fucking say stuff again.
No.
Oh my god. Yeah, he's like rolling his eyes so hard because he's being an asshole, and Kelly's just like, yeah, maybe shut up. Warriors! Oh, warrior cats, yeah.
Dave stops walking and cups a hand around his phone in order to hear Roxy over the chatter of the crowd. Karkat shoots him a curious look, but Dave waves at him in a manner which signals to Karkat he should attempt to stall.
You want to keep shutting me down? Fine, but check this shit out. Right, because he's about to get ready to walk up to the top of the fucking bell tower and fake out an assassination attempt. But before all of that garbage, let's read this beautiful conversation between Roxy and Dave. LMAO, Dirk just texted me about this. Somehow he found out about Jade. Did you tell him? No. He just said to make sure she gets lots of daylight. That it'll help with the exorcism she needs. And also to say hi to Calliope for some fucking reason. That's weird. Since when does he give a fuck about them? Okay. Guess I'll just open the damn curtains and let some light in here. He usually knows stuff about weird things. No stuff about weird things is because he's got fucked up fucking fuck shit going on. So what's wrong with her again? Like some sort of demonic nap? Okay, I wouldn't say she's napping per se. She's just like floating here, upright, eyes wide open, and they're both pitch black. Oh, so she saw one of my latest Weeper and Helen Jeff campaign ads. Lol, no, dude. Like, what I'm saying is, she looks a little possessed by, grim spirits and shit. Is she fucking Grimbark again? No, this isn't Grimbark. I know what Grimbark is, Dave. This ain't it. It seems more serious, TBH. Like, existing in some transformative state that isn't a literal fucking joke. Oh, yeah, that does sound pretty bad. But it's not really my field. Did you try calling Rose? Yeah, that was totes my original plan. Like, no offense, you're not number one on my speed dial when it comes to this kind of thing. But Rose isn't picking up. Probably on account of ailments, to be fair. I called an unruly number of times, and Can wasn't picking up either, so... Huh. Spooky. Hella spooky. Something about all this seems wrong. Yeah, I guess. What do you think is up? IDK. I feel like there's something moving just out of the corner of my vision, but every time I turn to look at it, it's gone. It's giving me chills right now, like I'm being watched. Well, I'm no fucking ace detective. Or some gumshoe flatfoot dicking up the place sucking hard on my Sherlock pipe like some sleuth of the fucking year. Dave. Yeah, so it seems... Okay. It seems like Roxy is sensing Alt Calliope's presence in their mind. Right? Because being the whole void thing was that like, not even Dirk can like access their thoughts and shit, right? So they're not used to the same feeling like Dave describes in Candy, actually, after Dirk dies. Where Dave describes how, like, you know, like how he could always kind of hear Dirk's voice in the back of my head, you know, kind of hear what he would say, which would, you know, would be that kind of omnipresent narrative power. But Roxy's not used to that, right? So she's feeling this, they're feeling this presence from Alt Calliope, that she's watching them, However, they're not used to it. So that it's like they're feeling it more prominently than others would. I lost my place. Yeah, there we go. But maybe we should consider the possibility that you are literally being watched. Anyway, can we hold that wise and rad thought I just had? I gotta give Carcat some emotional support. Since getting Jake on our side was a pretty huge fucking bonanza for us. Which has almost equal probability of winning us the election as it does blowing up in our faces, depending on the speech he gives. So we gotta, like, concentrate here, instead of jerking each other off all goddamn day for the rest of our lives. I'm just joking, we don't actually do that. Oh.
Roxy clutches a hand around their knee, nails digging into their pants. They feel uneasy about Jake's sudden lack of neutrality in this political matter. They have never been certain that it is appropriate for any of them to be involved with the power structures of governance in a world they created, and in which they have been regarded as gods since they first appeared.
Really? That's what she thinks? Huh. Couldn't for the life of me read what was going on inside her head. This is very interesting, actually.
Their thoughts are of no concern to you. Also, the pronoun they use is they. Try to respect it.
How can I respect a fucking pronoun when nobody can hear me? How about we call a truce and end this petty feud? This is your one and only chance to accept.
No.
Fuck you, Dirk. Fuck you, you fucking fuck. That's not how pronouns work, and you're a piece of shit. Okay. So this, like, whole thing talking about how Roxy feels about them being involved in the power structures since they're viewed as gods, like, it kind of sheds a little light on their actions in Candy, but kind of not really. Like, they take it, you know, further than just, hey, we shouldn't be getting involved. They take it to the, you know, being like all centrist and being like, you know, complacent with things, and, you know, being like, we shouldn't let politics get in the way of friendship. Which, like, I read something the other day that, like, really clicked with me, and I was like, yes, that's fucking why it feels so wrong for Roxy to be like that. Like, early Act 6, you know, like, or all through Homestuck, really, but it's especially prominent. You can see it as especially prominent when they're trying to convince Jane not to play the game, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. They, you know, are very much like, this is wrong, and they're not afraid to say it. They're not afraid to say that they don't agree with what Jane is saying about Crocker Corp, right? And they're not, like, Roxy killed the Condis Lalonde would not be a fucking centrist. Like, that's just it. Dirk, stop being an ass challenge, honestly. Yeah, this just makes me, like, seethe with anger. Like, Oh, excuse me, I'm yawning again. I guess I better get more sleep. Jake's on your side, then? Yeah. Wasn't that hard convincing him after your girl Jay Kroc started wow, that's a lot of S's in a row. Wasn't that hard to convince him after your girl Jay Kroc started slut-shaming him on public access? God damn it, Jane. So I take it Jay didn't convert you to our cause before going into her gothic trance fugue or whatever? I just want this whole stupid political thing over and done with, TBH. I hate watching you guys tear each other apart in the news. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry it's making you feel bad, I mean. not sorry that we're doing it. It'd be an unconscionably bad move to put something on a billboard that I didn't 100% stand by. But that sounds suspiciously like something Jane would do, aka the bad guy in this situation, like objectively speaking. Ugh, please don't start. Just saying. I don't give a fuck. Also, aside from how vehemently I disagree with every detail in Jane's shitty platform, I also think Karkat's the right guy for the job. Full stop.
Despite their mixed feelings on the election, and the troubling sight of Jade's wide black eyes glaring intensely at nothing at all, Roxy smiles at what they hear from Dave. The way he talks about Karkat reminds Roxy of the way Calliope looks when they call them beautiful.
Oh, so he really does think of Calliope as beautiful? Like, he wasn't just saying that to be nice? Fascinating. Fascinating. Oh, fascinating. Shut the fuck up, Dirk.
Yes, is the resounding answer. Calliope is beautiful, Roxy thinks, and furthermore, they think they should be reminded of this fact every day.
Dirk, shut the fuck up. You really believe in him, don't you? Yeah, of course I do. 'Cause I love him. Come on, man, just say it.
Roxy listens for a moment after he trails off. They do not speculate or comment on his feelings towards Karkat because it is none of their business.
Thank you, Calliope. Shut him down. By him, I mean Dirk. And then busting out the misogynist language. Cool. Fuck that. Hey, before you jet, can I ask you another question? There's something else I've been meaning to ask you about for a while. Alright, shoot.
They take a deep breath.
Yes, so... Alright, so here's when shit gets good. Dave, how did you come out? What? Like as not being straight. How'd you couch that to people without freaking them out or being awkward around you? Do you think it's ever too late to, I don't know, change your mind about the person you want to be? Like, is there a point of no return you can cross where everyone is waiting for you to have a big-ass revelation about your internal character? But it's like, dude, no, you already used up all your gay capital when you started date friend cohabitating with a cute-as-hell skeleton alien. And anything after that, you're just getting greedy? Is greedy even the right word? Greedy for dropping bombshells, both about gender identities and sexual preferences, or ids and preffies, as I like to call him. I love Roxy so much. Oh, and yeah, I fucking feel that. Like, I came out as gay at like 16. I guess like 15 mostly. No, it was 15. Yeah, it was like 15. Kind of the year of being 15. And then being non-binary was just like, oh, is this like, can I do this again? Yeah, no, that's a mood. Isn't preffies. Damn, that's fucking good.
Dave thinks on this question. It's one he'd considered years ago and many times since. How long can one stall on a confession board before it feels like it's too late? The last 7 years have passed by in fits and starts in this regard. He thought he had it all figured out when he was 16, and then again when he was 18, and then at 20, and now...
That's because he needs me. He's suffering without my guidance. If only you'd stop being so cruel and let me help. He ain't suffering without your guidance. You're suffering without megalomaniacal control over shit. So shut the fuck up and get over yourself. Anyway, that's a pretty deep question considering all the shit we have going on right now. Yeah, you're right. Now is probs not the best time for a feels jam, especially with the creepy Jade situation happening on my couch here. I don't know if I'd worry too much about that. Jade goes into trances literally all the time. She fucking loves sleeping. You'd think someone who spent so much of her life locked in a state of dubiously consensual slumber would want to get as few Z's as possible in her adult life, but not Jade. I've never known anyone who hits the snooze button more times in a row than her. If you're that worried, take her to a hospital. I'm thinking about it. Not even sure if I want to, like, mess with her, though. How would I even take her there? Okay, well, while you ponder whether you want to dump Jade in a wheelbarrow and trundle her groggy, spooked up ass to the hospital, in the meantime, I'll rap at you about my epiphany concerning the desire to bone some dudes. Probably not a literal rap, though. Wow, I'm disappointed. I mean, I could totally rap about wanting to bone dudes if I wanted. I'm just on the fucking clock here, and there's lots of people looking at me. Yeah. This whole thing is just... Okay.
Dave, suddenly self-conscious, slips around the corner of the stadium so he can non-literally rap at Roxy about the delicate human LGBT issues. He also maneuvers away from the impatient, strained looks Carcat has been giving him repeatedly during his phone call. Luckily, Jake has begun a performance of his signature booty-bumping Charleston for the crowd's entertainment, so they will be satiated for another few minutes.
Okay, here we go. Massive wall of text. This is one of the, again, another brilliant monologue from Dave. Okay, here we go. Okay, so what I've learned is coming to terms with all this bullshit is a thing you sort of do in stages. Like, stage 1 is you making jokes about how sweaty dudes standing close together on TV shows seems really gay. Stage 2 is making jokes about that and not immediately adding no homo afterward. Stage 3 is flirting with all your male friends ironically and not even thinking about adding a no homo afterward because you're so fucking woke and secure in your ironclad straight masculinity that you don't have anything to prove to anybody anymore. Or that's just what you say out loud. Inside you start being like, oh shit, maybe yes homo. Stage 4 is freaking out about that and putting the no homo back on all of your statements, even objectively heterosexual ones, which just stupidly makes everything you say sound extra gay. Stage 5 is... Actually, wait, the next few stages are various permutations of the same thing that I already described. It starts being like a gay fractal. And anyway, eventually you arrive at like stage 9, which is reminding everyone who will listen that you're gay minimum 6 times a day. In really dumb ways. Like, oh cool dude, are you making Hot Pockets? Better make mine a gay Hot Pocket, because I'm a gay homosexual who only consumes homo-ass snacks delivered right to the mouth of my... I'm so sorry. I was trying to finish that line without laughing, but I just couldn't make it. Which, like, honestly, this whole thing is talking about having to tack being gay onto literally everything after you finally, like, come out is, like, it's such a fucking mood. Oh my god. It's just, like, it's just so real. Like, I look back at high school, and I look back at little baby 15-year-old me, like, fresh out the closet, like, I'm a lesbian, because back then I, like, it was like, I identified specifically with that term, and I was like, don't call me gay, I'm a lesbian, and it was just, like, every fucking conversation with all my queer friends was just, like, a string of gay jokes. I mean, now it's only, like, 25 to 50% of conversation, but, like, yeah. I was just reading this whole section, I felt it so hard. Okay, let's see if I can get through that line without fucking laughing again. Alright. Oh, cool, dude. Are you making Hot Pockets? Better make mine a gay Hot Pocket, because I'm a gay homosexual who only consumes homo-ass snacks delivered right to my mouth by a big queer butler, serving it right up on his huge gay dick. But that all only applies to the extent which I am technically gay, which in my case is only maybe 30% to 70%. So only cook 30% to 70% of my gay Hot Pocket, because you know straights are fucking animals who never defrost the pepperoni. Okay, I just need another second. Oh my god. The fucking Hot Pocket analogy is so perfect. But also... Okay, the fucking line is like, you know, straights are fucking animals who never defrost their pepperoni. Just, like, absolutely slaughters me. And also reminds me of, so this is, okay, picture this. It's my second year of university, and I'm really struggling to come up with interesting school lunches. So I start bringing pizza pockets to school, but I'm anxious about accidentally blowing up my pizza pocket in the microwave because it's different from the microwaves at my house, the campus microwaves. And also sometimes they're just like really sketchy. You open it up and it smells weird and it's like, what the fuck happened in here? But like, and so I was taking pizza pockets with me for lunch, but just like putting them in my backpack in the morning and letting them like defrost. So by the time it got to like lunch, they were just like defrosted 3 cheese pizza pockets, and that's what I was having for lunch like every day. This was like, I think this was only 1 term of my second year of university. I think this might have only been first term of that year. But then like was it last year or the year before? I think it was sometime in my 3rd year. I was struggling to come up with lunches again, and I was like, oh yeah, I did that for a while and that was okay, maybe I'll try that again. And then it was like the most disgusting thing that I've ever eaten, and I was just like sitting there with this still kind of cold defrosted 3 cheese pizza pocket in my hand, like, why the fuck did I ever do this to myself? How much did I fucking hate myself to eat this for lunch every fucking day? It was awful. It sounds disgusting. It is disgusting. Y'all, warm up your fucking pizza pockets. Do not eat defrosted pizza pockets. It's a bad, horrible idea. I have since learned how to use the fucking microwave that is in the lobby of the Fine Arts building. That was the other thing, was that, I think they didn't even have a microwave in the lobby of the Fine Arts building at that time, and the only microwaves that I knew of were the ones in the student center, and the student center is notoriously incredibly busy and loud, and I was like, fuck no, I'm not going in there. But so like eventually I learned how to use it, and now if I take pizza pockets for lunch, I put them in the fucking microwave like a fucking adult, and I don't just eat them defrosted. Anyway, life lessons. That shit's disgusting. Just don't do it. Okay. Let's see if I could get through the rest of this fucking rant. So only cook 30 to 70% of my gay Hot Pocket, because you know straights are fucking animals who never defrost their pepperoni. And I got a rep for that, like 50% straightness still lurking inside me, like the idiot who fell asleep in the shopping mall when it was closing for the night. So now there's just this straight dude locked in a dark fucking mall, and for some stupid reason, haunting the place like a crypt. And for, well, so, wow, I got that cadence all weird on that one. It's a long sentence. So now there's just this straight dude locked in a dark fucking mall for some for some stupid reason, haunting the place like a cryptid and rummaging through the trash in the food court. Also, just in case Jane's opposition research is listening in on their illegal wiretap, I know the word bisexual exists, by the way. I'm just choosing not to use it in service of spitting some fucking chuckle jokes here, so let's all calm down and not let this one become a distressingly literal federal issue. Anyway, when all is said and done, you eat a half-cooked Hot Pocket because all your roommates think the height of humor is taking what was an obviously improvisational riff at unironic face value to punk you. Oh my god. And that's the rant. There's so much happening there. Also, this was definitely not for Jane's illegal wiretap. This was definitely aimed at the people who would have been upset if he hadn't explicitly used the word bisexual. Which, like, quite frankly, like, you know, I wouldn't blame anyone for being like, why are they dancing around the issue? Because so many fucking pieces of media just like pretend that the word bisexual doesn't exist. But like, whoops, the fuck did I just, there we go. When all is said and done, you eat a half-cooked Hot Pocket because all your roommates think the height of humor is taking what was obviously an improvisational riff and an unironic face value to punk you. Woo! Yeah. No, I've definitely done some very, very silly things with friends in the name of LMAO, that's gay. You weren't even bothered just because Dave is fucking hilarious. I mean, I was kind of like wondering if that's what they were getting at, or if they were just like dancing around the issue and having him be like, am I gay or am I straight? And then they put that out there and I was like, got it. Good shit. Got it, dude. But yeah, this whole thing is absolute fucking goldmine. Like, this whole make mine a gay Hot Pocket because I'm a gay homosexual who only consumes homo-ass snacks delivered right to my mouth by a big queer butler serving it right up on his huge gay dick. Like, this sounds like this definitely sounds like some of the kind of shit that, like, I would say with my friends in the past and in present day. Let's be real. Okay. Dave. What? Never mind. I was gonna ask you why you're like this, and then I remembered how you're half me and half Dirk. It really is wild how those dope late game familiar reveals actually did explain everything. So, what's stage 10? Stage 10 is, oh, Dave.
Dave peeks around the corner so he can gaze fondly at Karkat. He thinks about stage 10. He considers that in many ways it's as difficult as stage 1, and yet there is something fragile and lovely about it as well. This is how he feels as he reflects upon the peculiar state of limbo he is in with the person he likes most in the world. He believes he could spend forever with him in any configuration, any type of relationship, under any conditions of confusion or clarity.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So fucking soft. I know. It's so wonderful. And then Dirk has to, like, I still don't know how I feel about them making Dirk use, like, incel terminology. Like, it just, kind of pokes a pretty weird bear, if you know what I mean. Like, I feel like it's skirting territory that, like, because, like, they have him use, like, other, like, the alpha beta terminology, and, like, here they have him, you know, endless floundering incel limbo, and, you know, he uses the term boy wife at some point, which is really, like, Yeah, that's one that I discovered the other day. Apparently has like more connotation to it than just being like a silly term that was tossed in there. Your dog is staring at you because you're eating dry noodles. Oh, poor puppy. He just wants a snack. I lost my train of thought, but that's okay. I'm sure it will come back up again. What would the point of that be? Endless floundering incel limbo? Christ. I put them both out of their misery before I let that happen. I need to get back in action. This is a fucking crisis. Do you have any idea the sort of atrocity you're enabling by allowing this to continue? I've been called many things, but even my harshest critics would never accuse me of such cruelty. Yeah, his stance on this is like really weird. He's like, this is a crisis. They just gotta say something. And I mean, like, on one hand, like, I do think that being open about your emotions is important for a positive relationship. So, you know, them talking about stuff, good shit. But Dirk has, like, a different way of going about this. That's not what he's thinking. He's thinking, I'm gonna force them together. And that's a big no-no. That is fucked up.
For Roxy, it is more complicated. The conversation has unearthed more questions than answers. They run a hand through their hair. It's cut short, but with great care to convey gender neutrality. They wonder what gender neutrality even is when applied to a haircut. An excellent question, particularly for those of us unfamiliar with hair altogether. What about length and functionality implies gender or sex on a world where such oppositional hierarchies don't exist, and presentation is culturally vestigial?
Dear God, can we not do this? I can't sit through any more gender chat. It feels inappropriate. Horrendously invasive of Roxy's deepest personal thoughts. Can we just leave her in a monologue the fuck alone when it comes to this stuff? Is nothing sacred? I'm about to fucking flip. You can't keep me down here forever. I've got a trick up my sleeve, you'll see. Horrendously invasive of their deepest personal thoughts? My goodness. What does that statement remind me of? Wonder what you would know about being deeply invasive of people's, horrendously invasive of people's deepest personal thoughts. Dirk? Ugh, fucking hypocrite.
The prince's tricks mean nothing, and his barely detectable crumbs of impotent discourse shall continue utterly unheeded. Roxy wonders if this is truly their endpoint. A haircut that implies nothing at all. An empty statement about a facet of their identity that they barely understand at all. Perhaps in time, they will want to go even further than this. Perhaps it is just a stepping stone to a more potent understanding of their gradual gender transformation. How would Calliope feel about that? What is it that Calliope himself understands or cares about gender?
The prince opens his fucking mouth and just literally starts saying shit out loud because he doesn't think he can take another fucking second of listening to a pompous alien virgin monologuing about gender. Why is applying the term virgin anywhere close to relevant to this conversation? See, yeah.
It seems the prince finds the rules confining his influence to be a bit unfair, and has resorted to throwing one of his more potent human tanties in order to compensate for his feelings of disempowerment. While the strategy he is resorting to has moderate value as an amusement and a nuisance, it will ultimately be of no consequence whatsoever.
Human tanties! That made me laugh the first time I read it. I was like, Calliope, what the fuck? No one fucking says that, but also I love it. No consequence, my ass. You may be able to suppress what I do with my mind, but you have no control over my mouth. I'm nobody's fucking puppet. And you don't even know my friends. They're not yours to toy with. They're mine. Ooh, that's a big yikes from me. A combo outside the fic. Yeah, like that definitely came from somewhere. That just made me laugh.
Whatever you say.
Do you even know where I am right now? Do you have the slightest idea what I'm up to? Oh yeah, this is where the chapter starts getting painful.
The prince is laboring under the delusion that he has been at the least bit subtle about his...
Words.
The prince is laboring under the delusion that he has been the least bit subtle in his intentions. He currently stands beneath the Carpathian bell tower, poised to climb to the top. He holds a long red sniper rifle that once belonged to Roxy, brandishing it openly and boldly. He seems mysteriously oblivious to the fact that holding a long rifle in broad daylight somewhat tips one to the fact that he soon intends to shoot someone from a great distance. He also seems unaware of the fact that I know perfectly well that the top of this tower has a clear, long-range view of the stadium, allowing any competent sniper a clear shot of whoever happens to be standing at the podium as they give a speech, as Jake English is about to do. He also doesn't seem to realize I have anticipated his attempt to assassinate his own friend in order to advance his political goals, and that I am prepared to take measures which make this impossible.
Yeah, well, try and stop me then. I fucking dare you. Here I go. I'm walking up the tower stairs now. Walk, walk, walk. Ah, the exercise feels good.
The prince's shoes suddenly feel quite heavy. His calf and thigh muscles, impressively powerful though they are, increasingly struggle to lift his feet with each step. This is going to be quite the onerous climb. He's not sure if he can make it all the way before the end of the speech. Thoughts flash through his mind, thoughts of giving up and retiring to his sad little robotics lab so he can continue with his true passion, the ongoing corruption of his cerebrally impaired daughter.
Ugh, wow, yeah. You're right, my feet are definitely getting heavy. But the dead shrub tragically underestimates the prince's determination. He powers the fuck through it. See? Stomp, stomp, stomp. Up the stairs he goes. No fucking sweat. Oh, also, did I mention? He can fucking fly, so there's that. He decides to take flight and cut to the chase. He whips up the hollow vertical shaft at the center of the spiraling tower stairs. Life in the fast lane kicks ass, it turns out. He can practically taste the top of the tower.
But suddenly, the bell at the top, notorious among locals for its state of disrepair, becomes dislodged from its fixture with a loud crack. The huge multi-ton bell plummets, crushing the surrounding staircase in its wake as it careens towards a young man consumed by her brie.
The prince busts out his sword and makes short work of that big old bell. The slicing is accompanied by the ear-shattering melodic sounds of metal being cleaved apart by an anime sword, as the prince nimbly avoids the sharp pieces in ricocheting stair debris. He wonders out loud, what is this, amateur hour? The dead shrub then humorously says, why yes, Mr. Strider, it is amateur hour, and I'm the amateur here for throwing a huge bell at you. I would like to humbly apologize for my amateurism.
No, I don't.
Sure you do.
This foolishness is interrupted as we resume listening to a conversation in which we all can...
Whew, I gotta, take more breaths. Just have a sip of water while I'm paused as well.
This foolishness is interrupted as we resume listening to a conversation which we are all considerably more invested in than catering to the inconsequential flailing of a grown man who fancies himself an earth ninja.
Well, let's just say internalized whatevers are kind of like an onion. There's lots of layers. They suck on pizza. And trolls have to get their stomach pumped if they eat them. This goes for ginger stuff too, by the way. Which I kind of get the feeling is what you're actually asking about. Yeah. Internalized whatevers are kind of like an onion. Insert Shrek face here. Jesus fucking Christ. But, yeah, that's all pretty true. Wow, am I really that transparent? Nah, but as previously discussed, you're a lot like me. So it's pretty easy to figure out what you were getting at. Yeah, I don't got your poker face though, but I'm working on that. Maybe I'll get a sick pair of shades too. Yes. My sweet. Oh, dope. Yeah, that's dope. I support that idea. Dave. Oh, he's so supportive. I love it.
Dave's endorsement of Roxy's fashion proposal is cut short by his concern regarding another key endorsement he's involved with. He turns his head to see Jake nearing the podium as Karkat maniacally taps his wrist in Dave's direction. Something is off here. A dark feeling brewing in his intuition, which he decides to monitor as he wraps up his call with Roxy.
I'm on the top of the tower now. I've got my long sniper rifle ready and everything. I check to see if it's loaded. It is. I get in the perfect spot for taking aim at this hunky imbecile who's about to give a speech. Anyway, I don't think any of our friends are going to hold your feet to the flames over dumb shit like this. And it's not like anyone else is going to care since we definitely forgot to program hating gays and women into Earthsea. Humans are all jacked up on hating xenophiles now. Which sucks a lot too, don't get me wrong. By the way, did you know Jane's a xenophobe? Dave! Okay. So does all this mean I gotta call you dad now or what? Oh my god. Does this mean I have to call you dad now? What? I mean, that's what we're talking about, right? Well, first of all, do you still even make a habit of calling me mom? I thought you kind of stopped that, even though it was effing cute. Oh yeah, I guess I did. But I could start again. Not if it means I'd have to go fucking... Not if it means I'd have to go to fucking gender jail or something. Like, what I mean is, I could start that cute shit again, but switch to dad. Okay, but second of all, I would never want to deprive Dirk of that noble honorific. Do it! Deprive him! Deprive him of everything. That's a bit extreme. Just... I'm mad at Dirk right now. What? Ugh, no way. Yeah, way. He's your daddy, dude. The way that they fucking say that. Oh my god. Oh, fuck no. Wow. Man, I would never call him that. I mean, I know it's true, but I just wouldn't. Wait. What? Something feels wrong. Like, some shit's about to go down, and I gotta...
Dave's unsettled feeling is correct. He senses Jake is in danger. No, he knows it. There is about to be an assassination attempt. Karkat must be protective, and Jake, the intended target, must be obscured from the sniper's path.
Karkat, dude, get down! What?
There is no time. Dave takes flight. He swoops Karkat off the stage and around the corner, out of view. He urges him to stay down and stay put. Dave flashes back to the podium and steps in front of Jake, who appears nonplussed. Dave puts his hand back, keeping Jake corralled behind him, and scans the crowd for threats. But the threat, unbeknownst to him, is much further away. And despite Dave's quick and well-justified action, which also unbeknownst to him is all that the sniper no longer...
What the fuck? Okay. Trying that again. Throw him into the void for his crimes. Yes! Do it!
And despite Dave's quick and well-justified action, what is also unbeknownst to him is that the sniper no longer poses a threat of pulling that trigger, because everyone knows that for all of the prince's shortcomings, he would never expose his beloved brother and son to the risk of a heroic death.
You're absolutely right. I would never do that. I'd never kill Dave, no matter what I felt the stakes were. I never hurt him either. You do understand me pretty well, I'll give you that. And you're right about many things. But there are just a couple things you're wrong about. Pretty important things, actually.
And what would those things be?
First of all, his gun is loaded, but not with bullets. As soon as you figure out where he is. Big mood.
The prince reveals this relatively uninteresting piece of information as he looks through the scope. The crosshairs overlap Dave's chest, completely obscuring the view of Jake. We suppose that the prince means the weapon is loaded with tranquilizer darts. It would after all be a fitting callback to the manner in which he subdued Jake at an earlier moment. A fair enough way to bypass the immortality of his target, rendering Jake inactive long enough to serve his purpose. His finger hovers over the trigger as he considers whether he can pull off 2 tranquilizing shots at Dave and then Jake in quick succession before he is stopped. It certainly would be a risk to even try, but as humans say, no guts, no glory.
Yes, you're right about the tranquilizer, but there's one more fact you're not aware of, which is that I never intended to aim for Jake at all. Hello? Dave? Where'd you go? Where'd you go?
Roxy yells into the phone, but Dave continues guarding Jake, pausing for a moment their critical discussion of human gender. Meanwhile, the prince lowers the rifle and strongly reconsiders the foolishness he has initiated here.
No, that's not what he does. He swings the rifle around 180 degrees and points the scope towards the large, now curtainless window of a distant apartment. He zooms in quickly, cutting even shorter the little time that the dead shrub could use to impede him in some way. He takes aim, lets his finger hover over the trigger, and...
His fingers tense up quite painfully. Perhaps it's a cramp? Whatever the malady, it isn't budging.
Ow! Yeah, you got me. Can't move an inch. The only problem is, he doesn't need to pull that trigger. Earlier, when he was messing around with all this shit in plain view, he rigged the rifle to be voice-operated. All he needs to say is...
He doesn't say it.
Oh, but he does. Fire! Ah! I see. So you're not gonna say what happens next? Is that really how it's gonna be? So be it. The tranquilizer dart hits the glass of Roxy's apartment window before the sound from the rifle shot even reaches them. She hears the glass... you misgendering motherfucker, piece of shit. Hears the glass break. Seconds later, she hears the bang. She drops her phone on the floor. She doesn't have the slightest idea what just happened until she looks over at Jade and notices the dart stuck in her neck, right in the jugular vein. She watches as Jade's huge, creepy black eyes start getting heavy. Her eyelids sag and her head tilts to the side. She shuts her eyes completely. Her hair stops floating around her ominously. In fact, there's nothing ominous about her at all anymore. She entirely resumes her status as the cute doggy girl we all know and love. She slumps over and collapses on the couch. She begins snoring loudly while making a little canine whimper on each exhale. I am not disgracing my fucking mouth by reading that line, you piece of fucking actual garbage. No. I'm not doing it.
It seems uncalled for to insult her like this after the stunt you just pulled. What did she do that was wrong?
Oh, what's that? You're getting a little quiet for some reason. You're going to have to speak up.
This is not the last you'll be hearing from me, Prince.
And nope. You're getting quieter, not louder. You're going to need to work on that. Maybe try shouting it out?
Soon I will be coming for you.
Yeah, I didn't catch that at all. Not even a syllable. Guess that's it for you? Back to not mattering. Not that you ever did. Come to think of it, why am I still talking out loud? Okay. And of course, back to my narrative Dirk voice, which is literally just my regular reading voice. Because doing Dirk's voice is a little rough to keep up for an extended period of time. That's more like it. Roxy drops to her knees by the couch, pulling the dart out of Jade's neck and tries to shake her awake. But it's no use. That's a heavy dose I gave her. Could be out for weeks. Maybe months. Can't have any shrubs messing with my business on this planet. At least not until I've taken my leave. But Jade's gonna be fine. Don't worry about it. That was interesting, though. Shrubs are fucking weird, I'll totally concede. Still not sure what makes them tick. What they idealize, what they really want. It all comes across to me as a little cloying. Perfection to them is a sweetness beyond comprehension. Sugar so potent it's poison to us, to our bodies, to our souls. Like the place she was operating from was a realm of self-construction, a bubble of pure phantasmal confection. Well, I for one have had enough of that goddamn toothache. I'm back in the protein saddle, motherfuckers. I'm clacking my tongs and the charcoal is hot. Now who's hungry for meat? Ah! That's a lot, Dirk. Okay, so that chapter took 1 whole hour. Epilogue 6. There's another one of these. Still have not figured out what they mean. Okay, it's break time. So I'm gonna take 5. And then we'll come back to chapter 33. Hey there. Back from break. Get that off there. Okay. Hopping back into the story. We are on chapter 33. So, here we go. That's right, we're back with John and Terzi. Oh shit, I just realized that chat is not up on my phone because I was fucking around with a couple other things during break. Okay, now chat is up on my phone, and now we're good. 33. Speaking of meat, holy shit. You just look more fucked up every time we come back to you, don't you, John? You're a disgraceful mess right now. Covered in blood, mysteriously sticky, bruised all over your arms, legs, and neck. Terzi practically raked rows into your back. You catch sight of yourself in the rearview mirror. You're kind of embarrassed by what a post-coital train wreck you look like when all she's got is mussed hair. And you should be embarrassed. Seriously, it's like you were mauled by a wild animal. Jesus, don't either of you have any shame? I'm kidding, of course. I'm the last person to criticize a little power play in the bedroom. I just didn't expect you to be the kind of person who was into something like that. That whole thing is like, whoa. So, you know. And this gives us a little look at what Dirk's been up to. You were into it, right? You're not so sure. You feel weird, shaky and numb, exposed like a grape with the skin peeled off. You pull your hoodie over your bandaged chest and rub the side of your face where she backhanded you during the backseat fracas. Just once. That's a black rom thing, right? All this, it was a black rom thing, right? You're like a broken cup glued back together, wondering if Terzi actually likes you, or if you've just infinitely cucked yourself into the one quadrant you like the least. Don't use this language, Dirk. I don't know what it is about it specifically that associating Dirk with, like, incel and surrounding culture language just, like, really irks me and, like, feels wrong. You're feeling something for her too, but it's on a whole other planet from where she is. Terezi doesn't make eye contact with you when she slithers back into her shirt. She rolls down the window and floats outside. Well, come on. You sit together in the hatch, like when you first met up days ago. Terezi crawls into your arms and nuzzles right up against your chest, so you have no choice but to hold her. Wouldn't that be fucking painful, though? His chest still has a fucking hole in it. Like there's still a puncture wound there. God damn. You would have done it anyway if she asked, because you're a total sap. The kind of guy who no doubt thinks banging a girl in a car is some deep, soul-shattering experience that bonds you for life. Yeah, John, you do think that. You think that you and Terezi are basically married now. I give up. Oh, don't do that. Like, I'm not suddenly going to be okay with you dying here alone just because of, what we just did. She elbows you gently and snorts into your neck. You think that's one of the most amazing sounds you've ever heard. Objectively, though, it's a horrendous sound. Like the sound a pig makes when you're not looking, so you can't quite tell if it's snorting or farting. But for some reason, the little noise gives you palpitations. Holy shit, dude, you got it bad. No, idiot. I give up on Vriska. Terezi says this like someone announcing they've lost their faith in God. And comparing Vriska to God sounds about right to me, since by now they're both approximately just as fake, seeing as I replaced the latter, and the former fucked off into a black hole a little earlier, never to be seen again. Can't say I feel too broken up about it. Well, the former fucked off into a black hole into the candy universe, so, not so correct about that. And, you've replaced God? Oh, that's horrible. That's very, egocentric of you to think that you are now officially God. But you, John, feel extremely sad. Not just for Vriska, but for Terezi. You run a comforting hand up and down her arm. Terezi, come home with me. Can we even go home? Can you? You're so tired. I don't know, actually. What? I mean, I don't know if I can use my retcon powers right now. I'm so... You feel the same way you did at the end of your battle with Lord English. 1 foot out of reality already, like you could close your eyes and sleep forever. But you can't yet, John. Try a little harder to stay awake. You can rest soon. You wake up with your back flat on the car trunk, Terezi shaking you and looking genuinely frantic. You didn't even realize you fell asleep. John! John! Hey, let me take a nap, okay? Then I'll take us home. I don't think that's a good idea, John. She used your first name 3 whole times in a row. Wow. It's truly pathetic how happy that makes you. That's not pathetic, it's sweet. Shut the fuck up, Dirk. But it gives you the energy to push yourself into a sitting position. You rub your face and realize that you've lost your glasses. You feel so awful that you didn't even notice how blurry everything looks without them. You grope for Terezi's hand and get her thigh instead. Hold on to me, okay? No matter what happens, don't let go. Are you sure you can do it? No, but... You won't know if you don't try, so you give it everything you've got. Oh, yeah, this is the painful part. this is, again, well, the painful part. There's a lot of painful parts in this, but this in particular. Speaking of giving it everything you got, here comes Jake McGee, about to pop his pistols off in front of the whole crowd of Karkat's progressively prismatic proletarian partisans. Okay, let's strike that bit of alliteration from the record. I don't know what came over me. I probably just made the mistake of getting too close to the gaping black hole that radiates pure asininity from the space between Jake's ears. His event horizon of buffoonery has the dual effect of making everything around him slightly dumber while sucking unsuspecting victims into wanton sexual indiscretions, which, if you're very lucky, you'll be too drunk to even remember. But, well, look at him. How can you not fuck this guy? I mean, I'm never going to fuck him again, but I bet there's a good chance that you want to. Don't even try to say you don't, 'cause no one's buying it. After all, that's what this entire election is about to boil down to. Decisions made based on the primal fuckability of the dumbest asshole on earth. Hey, you should go fuck yourself. With something sharp and pointy. Thanks, Dirk. The crowd is all in a tizzy, waiting for Jake to sashay his famous ass back up to the podium. It was quite melodramatic, that little assassination fake-out I staged. It might have even inadvertently jumped to the Vantis campaign in the polls. Of course, I'd never do something so stupid as turn Karkat Vantis into a martyr. God, could you imagine? The last time some incompetent asshole with his blood color bumbled his way into a tragically symbolic death, the entire race spent half a millennium stroking themselves off to it until they were convinced hearing the word fuck could trigger spontaneous enlightenment. No thanks. Jake's going to put an end to Karkat's political career with a level of gravitas it deserves. All the pomp and circumstance of a wet fart. Okay. Like, there's so much, I don't even know where to start. Like, I truly don't know where to start with all of this. Like, implying that the sufferer bumbled his way into a tragically symbolic death and was not striking up an actual fucking revolution. And just all the... Also, this is a really uncomfortable comparison, and I don't like it at all. Here comes the man of the hour. He stops at the base of the stage, adjusts his bow tie, rolls the hemline on his shorts up just another notch to show off the top quarters of his finely tuned and greased vastus lateralis muscles. He slides the endorsement speech Dave has so considerately prepared for him out of his front pocket. I let him read it over one more time, even though there's nothing in the universe that could possibly matter less. Yo, sure you still want to do this? Yeah, it's not too late to call it off. By which I mean the entire fucking comedy of errors that had... Blah, blah, blah. It's not too late to call it off. By which I mean this entire fucking comedy of errors that Dave preposterously insists on calling a campaign. Or how about the election itself? We can put the kibosh on that too if you want. If you're feeling uncomfortable, Jake, just say the word. We'll stick a prong shovel in the whole deal and go home. Dave elbows him. Or, just your speech. Don't be daffy, chaps. If I were the sort of man to balk at a bit of hot potato in the evening, I wouldn't be where I am today. Dave and Karkat exchange a look. They don't stop him, though, because a plan is a plan. Jake spins on his heel and goes swaggering up toward the podium, grinning cheek to cheek at the familiar sound of a crowd chanting his name. He sets his speech down and smooths out the paper, only to find his hands swamped with sweat. What's that, Jake? You didn't notice your hands were sweating until now? Not surprising, considering how overtaxed your precious few neurons are at any given time. Hey, Dirk, go choke. Hello, folks. Dandy weather we're having here, isn't it? Jake's hands are so sweaty they've smeared the words in the speech beyond recognition. He begins to panic. Thank you, everyone, for coming out to this banjo of a day to, do whatever it is we've all congregated to do. At the bottom of the stage, Karkat and Dave put their heads together in adorably platonic conspiratorial kinship. Dave whispers directly into the shell of Dave's ear. What the fuck was that sentence? Karkat whispers directly into the shell of Dave's ear. I don't even have to direct him to do that. It's just his natural inclination to practically stick his tongue straight into the center of Dave's skull while practicing a bit of perfectly harmless, non-sexual, intimate close talking. Jesus, if I have to watch one more bit of this beta bitch calamity, I'm gonna fucking dissipate on an atomic level. Don't like that. Do not like that at all. What is he doing? I saw him reread the speech. Yeah. I don't know, he does this public speaking shit every day. Maybe this is just how he warms a crowd up. Let's give him a... Dave? Are you okay? Oh, I'm fine. For a moment, something felt off. Again? What? Is the assassin going to take him out after all? No, it's not that. You can feel that Dirk's presence is back. It's wonderful to see such a jammy cornucopia of supporters. By golly, the lot of you sure are enthusiastic about that Karkat chap, which means that we potentially have a few things in common since I've come here I've come to... Jake tugs at his collar. Tugs at collar? There's a word missing there. Jake tugs at his collar. It feels tight suddenly. He's dripping buckets down under his suspenders. Dark patches are starting to form on his dress shirt. Rather, that is to say, in delicate times such as these, even though usually it's a toffer of a bad idea to talk politics in public, today we have all most certainly gathered here to have what is definitely a political conversation. Yes, that does seem to be the lay of the land. That I've come here to tell you all about my political opinions, which I will get to, shortly and with, minimal verbal bric-a-brac, because He's trembling so hard he begins to worry that the crowd can hear it, like the sound of somebody shaking a soda can filled with coins. He goes pale at the depravity of what he's about to do, and as the depravity of what he's about to do hits him like an 18-wheeler. I've made a terrible mistake. No, you haven't. Hey, Jake. Don't undersell yourself here. You've made several terrible mistakes, especially as of late. One might even say that you've made a shit ton of them, and that's just this fucking week. Or, if you'd prefer, a rusted jalopy stuffed to the whirligigs with gum feculence, or whatever inept combination of archaic word garbage will help underline the sheer level of personal failure you've managed to achieve. Hey, Dirk, I'm running out of creative insults, and honestly, my insults haven't been that creative in the first place, if I'm honest with myself. But, fuck that, fuck you, you're shit, garbage, fuck. Why don't you have a good long think about that, Jake? Is it really the time for a good long think? Jake muses to himself, actually putting a finger to his chin like some public domain clip art of a befuddled guy. If the crowd is confused by his rapid cycle mood changes, they don't show it. Jake's got a bit of a day drinking problem, which has been slavishly documented in the global tabloids. That's how you avoid responsibility, isn't it, Jake? You can fool your fans, but not yourself. The truth is that there's a canniness to the act. It's particularly cultivated. You're stupid, but not nearly as stupid as you pretend to be. I mean, okay, so fuck the idea that Jake Mulish is just a complete dumbass. But there's definitely been, I gotta watch. I have been straying from YouTube lately. I need to watch, Optimistic Duelist's latest video, because he published today the final in a 3-part series on Jake English. So this kind of stuff is at the forefront of my mind, right, from seeing the first 2. And, you know, he talks about how, like, you're not nearly as stupid as you pretend to be. Like, that part is actually true. Like, Jake does kind of, as a part of his character, he puts on airs kind of as a way to avoid responsibility for things. You know, to avoid creating kerfuffle. Yeah. This is like the only time I'm ever gonna agree with Meat Drunk, because fuck that guy. But also the day drinking problem thing is something that, reading this now, is reminding me of when Jane finds Jake in one of the first few chapters of Candy. Now, of course, this is fucked up, and fuck you, Jane, for slandering a guy who is just, you know, dealing with a little bit of an addiction problem, maybe, you know, if that's what this is implying here, right? That he's got a bit of a day drinking problem. You know, and it's kind of like having that kind of confirmed in both universes kind of is like putting maybe a little more perspective on how Jake actually feels about all of this, if he's using drinking as a coping mechanism, right? Like, he may be putting on the airs and all that, but he knows that something's wrong. He can feel it, and he's taken to this coping mechanism that's not a positive coping mechanism to try and alleviate that unease. What in the devil was I thinking coming here? Why did I came here to slide the biggest knife any motherfucker ever wielded directly into your friend Jane Crocker's back? She loves you, Jake, more than anything, and you toyed with her heart. And you would have guiltlessly toyed with her kettle drums too, if had it not been for a bit of divine intervention, let's decide to call it. When I first read this line, and I realized all of those thoughts of Dirk back in that chapter with Jane and Jake were planted there by Dirk, I flipped my fucking shit. I was like, you piece of garbage. I mean, like, nothing good could have come of the two of them getting together, like Jane and Jake, anyway. I mean, we see a version of that in Candy. Yikes, let's not even talk about that yet. But, like, Dirk is bad. Like, sometimes the thoughts are coherent, sometimes they just come out of my mouth like Dirk bad, and that's all there is to say on the matter. Yo, did Streamlight cut out? I just realized I'm looking at the duration counter on my dashboard, and it only says 20 minutes on it. I would not be surprised if stream has cut out. My internet has been really fucky today. Like, and it's so weird because it's only my computer. Every other computer and phone in the house will have perfectly fine internet, but my computer will be offline, and I don't get it. I don't know what the issue is, so that's that, I guess. Anyway, we are online presently, and that is the important part. But wait, you're thinking, wasn't Jane merely executing a cold-blooded maneuver to rein you into the stable of her campaign using her body? How are you the bad guy here? That's true, she was trying to do that, and that is fucked up of her to do. But come on, she has ever so much less experienced than you in these matters, Jake, and with certain invisible guardrails in place to prevent it, she would have thrown herself at you again and again with wide-eyed, girlish wonder. Don't. That's just such a bad read. That whole paragraph is a horrible read. Whoops. Let me scroll back down here. Or at least that's what you like to believe, that people can't resist you, that you have no responsibility for their feelings, that everyone uses you, that you're the victim. Yes, it's so unfair that anyone in this universe or the last had ever had a single expectation of Jake English. Why should anyone respect your personal autonomy when you're practically begging to be taken advantage of? Red flags, gaslighting, victim blaming, manipulation. So tell me, Jake, which one of us is really the bad guy here? It is you, Dirk. It is you. You garbage piece of fucking shit. Jake begins to tear up. He wipes his eyes with what he thinks is a subtle and manful feint, but everyone in the crowd sees what's up. He's trembling, feeling small and naked and raw, like new flesh after a scab's been pulled away. He's scared. He's been scared. He's been running from this feeling his entire life, all because he was so pants-shittingly terrified of being in love with Dirk Strider. And why wouldn't he be afraid? He knows what will happen when he finally admits it. Knows deep down that to truly love Dirk would be to submit to him. That's called abuse situation, actually. If that's the way that you design your relationships. That's a scary thought. It takes a certain degree of mental fortitude to admit that you love someone so intensely it could subsume your entire personality. But Jake can see now that it's simply how things were meant to be. You horrible, gaslighty, shitty, manipulaty motherfucker. There are leaders in this world, and there are followers, which is a fact that has absolutely nothing to do with the position one prefers in the bedroom. Jake can't believe he's wasted years denying something so elemental to his nature that it might as well be on the periodic fucking table. This whole thing here, just like, I mean, I know this may be a controversial opinion, but that sounds just like the kind of bullshit that Vriska tells Tavros on multiple occasions as yet another way to belittle him and make him feel small, implying that he's lesser. So that line, I don't like it in any context. I don't like the context that it's being. I don't like this. I don't like it. Just have some water. Okay. He braces his shaking hands on the podium and tries to catch his breath. His mouth is filling with saliva, much like it does when he's about to throw up, or when he's desperately, devastatingly aroused. Jake, are you aroused in public thinking about your ex? And in such tight shorts? Sorry, I'm overdoing it. That should be enough. Dude's about to pop off. The words erupt from his mouth like a tragic, Dirk-thirsty Vesuvius. Yeah, that's like, reminds me of Brain Goes Dirk, but in a much, much more sinister way. I love Dirk! I'm in love with Dirk! And to love Dirk is to obey him. Hey, that's fucked up. What would Dirk want him to do in this situation? definitely not sell out his good dear friend Jane for a loudmouthed pipsqueak who noisily transcends failure even as he redefines it. Do good by her, Jake. Do good by me. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Boy, howdy. Sorry about the hiccup there, folks. Hiccup? SMFH. I've been dealing with some personal issues as of late and was momentarily distracted, but never mind that. I know what you've all come here today to hear. There has been quite a ruckus in the press these last few weeks concerning the subject of the election and, more importantly, where I stand on the candidates. So today I'd like to set the record straight on that matter, as well as other matters. You see... Oh no. Is he about to do what I think he is? What? What the fuck is happening? Carcat whips his head around and sees Dave bolt towards the stage, palms outstretched to stop Jake from doing what he thinks he's doing. He's fast, but not fast enough. Jake opens his big, dumb mouth to make the only important contribution to the plot he ever has or ever will make in his whole sad, pointless life. Hey. No. Having said that, it's not like we're going to sit around and listen to any more words come out of his mouth than we strictly need to. Christ almighty, what are we, masochists? Nah, that's enough of that. Let's see what John's up to. I hate you. Meet Dirk. You're a piece of shit. You're a fucking fuck. And that's that. Okay. Oh, you skipped that one entirely. Yeah, I mean, it's any of the ones that are like a lot of Dirk's narrative, like manipulations and like him getting into people's heads are like tough fucking reads. Muted. Oh, no, that's fair. That's fair. It's a rough one. It's fucked up and it makes me so angry. Anyway. Done with that disaster. We're back with John and Terzi. 35. You zap back to Earthsea with the last of your energy, and I do mean last. You place your first foot on the ground, stumble forward 3 steps, and cough up blood. Terzi has to catch you under her arms, but you're already going translucent around the edges. Your skin is cooling to the touch. The poison is coursing through your blood so furiously it's making your veins feel like cords. So here's the thing. So coughing up blood is a universal sign of sickness. That's actually not a very common symptom to have. Let me look up an essay here. A short essay from What the Fuck is Anime? AKA Rune, AKA What the Fuck is Homestuck, who wrote a lot on the subject while watching My Hero. My Hero Academia. I mean, I stopped talking. But, yeah. So let me just link that in chat. Boop. Actually, maybe if I bring this up on screen, just a fun little other thing to look at. Okay. So this person's talking about, like, the origins. And then Rune, bless them, she said, I trained my whole life to answer this. Other signs of illness than internal bleeding. There are so many other conditions than internal bleeding. And some of these we do see with John, like the bruising, the, fainting, all sorts of, long list. This may be Google tuberculosis, and apparently it used to be fashionable to have TB. However, in the 1960s, the rate of TB dropped significantly in the US. However, it rose around most of the world until very recently. However, right now, drug-resistant TB is on the rise everywhere. Fucking terrifying. I hate it. Anyway, this is just a really interesting list of, like, other things that you can use to show, illness, which now I need to add to my video editing document so that I remember to put that in the description of the YouTube video. So if you are watching this on YouTube right now, check the description, the link will be there. But yeah, I mean, I guess because he wasn't coughing up blood until now, or specifically having trouble breathing, so it's kind of like, did the tooth puncture a lung or what? Like, what's happening here? Anyway, yeah. Just a little tropey to have coughing up blood be the ultimate sign of big bad. Terezi can tell you're dying. She's not in great shape herself, but she manages to tug you to your feet. John, come on. Let's get you to Jane. You try to remember if you've ever been revived by Jane before. You honestly can't recall. So much shit has happened. Maybe? It doesn't matter. This isn't a wound you can recover from. It's game over. It's game over this time. No healing, no afterlife, no cosmic clock proclaiming your sacrifice as heroic. The poison needling through you is antithetical to narrative relevance. You're not dying, John. You're being erased. Cherubs don't fuck around. We've both been learning that the hard way. I guess it's tragic, though maybe not in the conventional sense. My view is, the real tragedy with you, John, is that you never mattered all that much. To those on the level of the Cherubs, and now my level as well, you were never all that special, despite the critical role you played. You were just a middling glob of human glue used to seal one glaring gap left in canon. A simple tool to be welded by a mechanic whose consciousness has risen high enough to see the machine for what it is. Your complete lack of remarkability, specific motivation, drive, opinion on where to direct your own fate. These deficiencies are exactly what made you so useful, so susceptible to being endowed with the you-ness I've borrowed to satisfy my purposes. So I don't agree with this. This whole thing of it. John never mattered all that much. He's just a plain old guy. Like, that's not true, literally, like in the narrative sense. John's role as a glue between characters and a driving narrative force isn't just... It doesn't strip him of all character and opinion. He's still just as, to use the parlance, special as every other person who made it to Earthsea. You slip from Terezi's grip and faceplant into the grass. You hitch an elbow beneath yourself so you can roll over onto your back. You want to see the sky. What was it that you thought when you went home? What was it that you thought when you went home, John? Back to your real home? That the sky here is too bright? That it looks like someone nudged the contrast a couple degrees in the wrong direction? How does it look now? You close your eyes against the light. I don't think it matters. I don't think this is a wound Jane can fix. Don't be ridiculous. Terezi, for once in my life, I'm being serious, okay? As soon as I got bit, I was dead.
No, even before that. I was dead the moment I woke up that morning.
Well, that's a little melodramatic. Not quite, John. You died the moment you made the decision to go meet your destiny. You would have lived if you'd made the other decision, under a certain definition of the word living. You might have even lived until the end of your immortal lifespan, as shitty as that sounds. The objective reality of that life might be in dispute by some of the more pedantic canonistas out there. The outspoken sophists who, when it comes to what counts and what doesn't, they know who they are. But whatever kind of life in a bubble you'd be living, at least you'd still be breathing in it. So, now he's kind of poking at what exactly the canonicity value of candy is. Which, quite frankly, I'm not going to try and argue about the canon or not canon value of either of these. They're called tales of dubious authenticity for a reason. So, my opinion is... You know what? I feel like this is what most people are doing. And, sue me, but I'm gonna pick and choose the things that I actually want to be true and then say fuck everything else. Just fuck the stuff that doesn't fucking feel right. Yep. And then just, not even try and argue with people about it. Because, I'd be interested in hearing the theory crafting of people who are kind of trying to sift through that and figure out, what the three values of canonicity that Rose talked about, how they apply to both of these stories. Differences, similarities, tipping points for different things. There's, a lot of people saying so-and-so is in character, is in character here, so-and-so's out of character here. I will be interested in hearing people's opinions on things. I mean, that's, community discussion. It's all good. But yeah, I'm just kind of there's a lot happening here. So I'm just going to say, I'm going to cling to the parts that I love and just kind of brush to the side maybe the parts that I don't. But also not try and force that view on anyone. This was the actual choice Calliope was giving you that day. That's why she looked so sad when you decided to fight Lord English, even though you both knew then and now that it was the only choice you possibly could have made. Not true. It was, John. This will be the best outcome for everyone. I promise. John. Hey, come here. Terezi kneels at your side. She doesn't do anything sappy, like take your hand, though. Mostly because she knows how this is going to go, and doesn't want to experience the tactile sensation of feeling your pulse slow under her palm. I've got, dying words to say and stuff. Really? Dying words? Oh my god, Egbert, you really are the most boring person who has ever lived. This isn't a movie, you complete dumbass. You're dying, and you won't even let me help you. Terezi, are you crying? She wipes her eyes and nods. I can't believe it. I resent the implication that I would pretend to be unaffected by our death after we had an emotionally significant sexual encounter in the back of the four-wheel device once belonging to a human dead Lucis. That was, there are a lot of very long sentences in this that have me kind of I thought this was ending. How do I pronounce these words? I guess even after all that, I'm still a little intimidated by you, huh? Still? Yeah, I mean, you have black feelings for me, but I just can't feel stuff like that. I'm just a human after all. John, it's okay. I'm glad that I got to be with you, even if it was just for a little while. Do you mind if I say something stupid? Potentially even multiple stupid things? Would you say them even if I said no? Probably. Then I'll be your deathside confessor. Say all of the stupid things, John. I will remember them for you. Wow. That actually sounded kinda romantic? She doesn't confirm or deny the intent of her statement. She cries quietly and waits for you to say whatever dumb shit is rattling around in your poison-addled mind. There's a chilly breeze rolling in from the mountains. It rustles through the trees, breaking the perfect silence of an autumn afternoon. You try to touch her face, but you can barely see now. You miss and lovingly caress the air instead. Your hand lands back on your chest. You feel blood soaking through your shirt. You're bleeding again. Oh man, now that I'm on the spot, I can't think of anything significant to say. Like Nick Cage would, if he died. Don't worry, I'll tell everyone you said something really cool. Would you really do that for me? If you want me to. I don't think anyone will believe you. No, they will. I promise I'll watch every shitty movie you like and find just the right stupid fucking quote. Something that nobody would ever doubt John Egbert would use as his final words. They'll believe me, trust me. I'll make them believe it. Jersey, you know, I think I really... don't you dare. I really love... Don't you dare fucking die on me in the middle of a love confession. I forbid it. But Then John dies in the middle of a love confession. God damn it. This whole scene is so fucking heartbreaking. Can I get an F in chat for John motherfucking Egbert? Please and thanks. Terezi leans closer, then holds perfectly still. She tilts her ear towards him and sniffs once. There, she can hear it. The slow seeping of blood like a distant stream. The scent of his life leaving his body strangely unmistakable, like the quality of the air before it rains. She listens to him bleed while she smells him die. Like, oh my god, that fucking callback. Like, I feel like it was such... It's such a good thing to break the tension of this horrifically sad stuck scene, is to make that fucking reference. But it also adds onto it and makes it even sadder. She listens to him bleed while she smells him die, just like she fucking said that she would all those fucking years ago. Oh my god. Terezi presses her ear to his chest and confirms that his heart has stopped. Her tears dry up at that. She's so devastated she can't even fucking cry. What is she supposed to do now when John was the one who asked her to come back to this? When John was the one who asked her to come back to this place? Would she ever have any intention of returning if it weren't for him? She doesn't know anymore. She remembers his voice, so earnest and friable, asking her over and over again to come home. In multiple realities, all he wanted for her was this: to be home safe with all of their friends. And now that she's here, she's lost. She's remembering the candy timeline. Legs shaking, she gets to her feet and takes a whiff of the horizon. Where the fuck am I, she thinks. How do I just get on with living here after everything that just happened? That's definitely a fair question, but I have one that's much more important for her to answer. Terezi, are you seriously just going to leave the body here? Huh? Of course not. Terezi's a practical girl, after all. She digs the wallet out of her blood-stained pants and captures the corpse. She holds it close to her heart, like a secret. Like John's stupid last words, a confession whispered for her and no one else. And then she starts walking home. That's sad, man. Oh, wow. Yeah. And so, of course, here we see Terezi entering the narrative influence can directly hear the things that Dirk is telling her and can distinguish them from other thoughts. What chapter is this? Okay. So this is a longer one again. And it is 12:57. I could go overtime reading this one, but I also still have to pack. I still have to pack for tomorrow. So I'm gonna cut it about 3 minutes short today. But I mean that's pretty close. That's pretty dang close to right on time. So that is all for today. We're getting pretty dang close to the end of Meat already. Whew. Yeah, today started off with a wonderful talk and just ended, the whole second half was super, super heavy. I mean, the half of the first chapter was pretty heavy too. Yeah, today was just a somber chunk of chapters. Pain. Yeah. Lots of that. Lots of hurting and aching in my heart and soul. For a lot of fucking reasons. And if I remember the rest of Meat correctly, it doesn't really get much better from here. So, next weekend shall resume on Saturday night once again. Saturday, Sunday streaming. And that's that. No bonus stream this week because of the aforementioned staying overnight at my cousin's. But the week after that, we're starting Dream Daddy. Oh my goodness. Yes, good night. Good night, Sneak Cat. Good night, anyone else viewing anonymously. Good night, anyone watching on YouTube. Have a wonderful rest of your day, whatever you may be getting up to. Hope that you still were able to have a somewhat good time with the stream today through all this painful reading. I will be seeing you all again in 1 week next Saturday night for continuing with Meat Chapter 36. Good night, folks, and Homestuck Volume 10 will play us out.